Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to look at a video which is relative to the month of August, which is going to be the atomic bombing of the city of Hiroshima. This was the first atomic bomb that was dropped in anger over a city of people during the Second World War. And mind you, this was the fag end of the Second World War, where the Americans were looking at planning a land invasion of Japan. Looking at their experience during the island hopping campaign, which they did to come as close as possible to the island nation, they realized that the casualty rates were very, very high. And according to estimates, they were looking at a casualty rate of more than 100,000 people uh, during the first phase of the land invasion of Japan. Now, a little bit of the history, as we all know, this was basically known as the Manhattan Project, where the atomic bomb was being developed by the Americans. This was tested just about less than a month before. The bomb's name was Little Boy. It was dropped by an aircraft known as Enola Gay. We'll talk about all this stuff. Let's have a look at the video first and see how it goes. So let's watch.
I saw an aircraft, like a tiny silver drop, entering the sky above Hiroshima. I instantly recognized it as an American plane, as no Japanese aircraft could fly at that altitude at the time. It was just one plane, so I assumed that it was passing by as usual.
It looked pretty harmless, I guess.
And I was counting. 1, 2, 3.
I was wiping the desktop. That was when the bomb was dropped.
The memories are pretty strong for all these people. The silence before the storm.
It took about 45 seconds from the time the bomb left the airplane until it exploded. And I think there wasn't a man in the airplane that wasn't either timing it with his watch or counting or doing something. I was sure the bomb was a dud. I was sure it wasn't going to work.
How life changes after this.
After falling for 43 seconds, the time and barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. A uranium bullet fired down a barrel into a uranium target. Together, they started a nuclear chain reaction. Solid matter began to come apart, releasing untold quantities of energy.
I mean, it's going to be difficult watching what actually happened after that bomb dropped. So we were talking about this particular incident. This bomb was dropped by an aircraft known as the Enola Gay. It was a Boeing B-29 Superfortress. This was named after the mother of the pilot, Colonel Paul Tibbets. His mother's name was Enola Gay Tibbets, so this plane was named after her. Now, this plane belonged to a squadron known as the 509th Composite Group. It was a bombing squadron made out of B-29 Superfortresses. This particular aircraft was also used in the second bombing of Nagasaki. I will do a video on that as well, as a weather aircraft. Now, this particular bomb was known as the Little Boy. It had a total capacity of 16 kilotons, which is basically about 16,000 tons of TNT. This had targeted the city of Hiroshima, which ironically was not bombed as much as the other cities in Japan during the Second World War. Enola Gay was a very new aircraft which was made in the month 1945 with the call sign of Victor 82, which was changed from Victor 12 post its modifications to drop the nuclear bomb was done. It took off from a base on the island of Tinian in the Northern Marianas at about 6 hours before the time it was dropped, which was 8 hours and 15 minutes in the morning, Hiroshima time. This bomb was released at about 31,000 feet, and it took 43 seconds to be precise to reach an altitude of 1968 feet before it exploded. This bomb had killed almost 60 to 70,000 people, and the Japanese officials had said that almost 69% of the buildings in the city were destroyed, and another 10% were damaged pretty badly. Now, in 2009, the Japanese government officially recognized people who actually went through both the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were known as Hibakusuka. Now, there were a couple of people who actually went through the bombing in Hiroshima. After that, as an escape, they went to Nagasaki and got bombed again. It is impossible to imagine the kind of destruction which was caused by this particular bomb and what would have gone through the people who survived this particular incident, as we all know what is the repercussions of a nuclear bomb, which stands at nuclear fallout, radioactive poisoning, cancer, so on and so forth. Now, another interesting point is considering the latest explosion which happened in Beirut. The explosion in Beirut was about 1/5 the size of this particular bomb, and we've all seen the devastation with our own eyes through the videos which have been circulating around social media. We can only imagine what kind of destruction this bomb would have caused, along with the radioactive fallout. It is quite a sensitive topic even now when people discuss about it. Some people still aren't in favor of the decision that was taken by the then President Harry S. Truman. And people still debate this particular incident, whether the Americans could have handled this in any different fashion. For example, doing a demonstration to the Japanese with regards to the capacity and the power of this particular weapon. Another sect which says is that even after the bombing of Hiroshima, the Japanese did not surrender, and the next bombing of Nagasaki was done to ensure that the particular amount of pressure is put on the Japanese and they do surrender, because of the fact that the Americans did have this kind of capability of destroying their cities and killing a whole lot of Japanese citizens. It's an incident that has basically changed our lives, changed the whole paradigm of the world, resulted in the Cold War, which existed for over 40 years between the United States and the Soviet Union. It has also resulted in an arms race between a lot of countries like India, Pakistan, China. Some people also say Israel. In the Middle East, there were many incidents which happened where there were proliferation of the nuclear technology which was done. North Korea seems to have their own atomic weapons, which has created a lot of rift between the North and the South Korean governments. It is something which has changed our lives forever, and there is no way to describe, or not enough words to describe, what exactly happened. Anyways, I'd let this go at this particular point of time. I'll do another video on the bombing of Hiroshima, of the second bombing of the post the Hiroshima's bombing, which was the bombing of Nagasaki. And I'll see you guys then. Thank you.